Welcome to the No Limiter Podcast, where we interview top business owners, entrepreneurs, and creators in every industry to help you set record-breaking months. Here's your host of the No Limiter Podcast, Regina Eileen Woodard.
Hi, welcome to the No Limiter Podcast. This is Regina, your host, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and Credit. And today I am speaking with, I want to say my homegirl, my little sis from another mother, Eisha Branner. She is a businesswoman, a woman of God, an entrepreneur, a mother, a community activist. I have so many titles for her, but we're going to have a conversation today. You're going to get to know her personal life, her business life, just a little bit about her, because, you know, we all have struggles when it comes to getting to the bag. When I say getting to the bag, no, not the money bag, but the bag of opportunity of whatever goals that you may have. So Eisha, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing excellent this morning. So, Eisha, as I was explaining on the call that we had before the podcast, you know, my mission is for people to get to know you, your struggles, where you came from, where you're going, and what's your plans. Who is Eisha Branner? What is your legal name?
My legal name is Batisha O'Neill.
So that's your government license? Say it one more time.
Batisha.
Batisha. Spell that for me.
Batisha. Yeah.
So Eisha is the short form. Is it the short form to? Yeah,
it's my twin. He couldn't pronounce, my name, so he just called me Eisha, and it just stayed with me.
So you have a maternal twin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And how many kids in the family?
My mom has 7.
7 kids. And what number are you?
I'm number 5.
You're number 5. Are you who's the leader? Are you the leader of the group, or are they telling you what to do?
No, I was the leader.
You're the leader. All right. Mm-hmm. So the leader. Walk us through your journey.
What part would you like me to start? From a kid or when I became a young mom? And there was quite a few that I had to kind of travel on my own at first.
So you know what's the most important to you now? Is being a mom? Is that the most important thing to you right now?
Yeah. So
let's talk about that journey. How many kids do you have?
I have 4 beautiful daughters. My oldest is 20, and my youngest is 4.
Oh, Eisha, that's a wide range. You 20 years old and then 4?
Yeah.
So that just tell you, your body has gone through a lot. Age 20. Wait a minute, did I say that? Your body has gone through a lot, but you look good.
Yes, thank you.
So age 20. So
stress-free, and I work out.
So having a 20-year-old and a 4-year-old, what age did you have your 20-year-old?
I was 19 when I had her. I got pregnant with her at 18.
Okay. 18, 19. Okay. How do you see your mother, you being a mother when you were 18 versus you being a mother now being age 4?
18, I was just in survival. I became a single parent immediately. And I just created this life where it was just me and my daughter. And I just went and pretty much was on my own for the most part, raising her. I had some help from, my mom and siblings from time to time, but it was just me and her. So looking back at my experience then to now, I was surviving, and now I'm just living. I'm making the necessary steps so that my kids can be brought up in a better environment. They can experience things. Like I couldn't do that with my older daughters because I was just trying to figure out life, going through school, working several jobs, just trying to make ends meet. So it was very much different.
So what is survival mode? So what does that mean?
You're really not planning anything. You're not allowing your mind to process what you're going through. and you're just getting up and just trying to figure it out. You're just trying to, I got to work. If we don't work, I don't have nowhere to stay. You know, I remember I used to have to, I started school when I first got my associates. Before I got my associates, me and my daughter had to walk probably about 2 miles to the bus stop. And I was just like, you know, I had to do that to go back to go to school. So we would get on the bus and I would have to stay at OCC like all day. And so in my mind, you know, I have to get up and just try to figure out how I'm gonna get a car. Like I didn't plan, like, let me save money, you know, let me do this, let me do that, because I just didn't give myself time. It was just like, I'm just trying to make it to the next day, you know, for the sake of her.
So you are a graduate from Oakland Community College.
Yeah, I graduated in 2009 with my associates in criminal justice.
Well, congratulations. We do have something in common because I graduated from Oakland Community College too. I went to the Highland Lakes campus. So
I was in Urban Hills.
Yeah, so kudos to that. Well, kudos to you, because if you were 19 when you had your child and your baby, your first baby, and then you walked 2 miles to school to go to school and took your baby and had been there all day. I don't know. I mean, that sounds very challenging. And then knowing that you have to be able to, if you don't work, you don't eat, right? And then you don't eat, but your baby don't eat. So you 2 miles to feed at that age. Wow. So let's get to the future. The 4-year-old, you're living. Let's talk about that.
Well, I wasn't living when I had her. I was still just trying to survive, you know. This new path I'm in now, where I'm accomplishing a lot more, is because I am living. So I was, you know, up until 4 years ago, I was just having kids, you know, and just thinking I had it all figured out. So it was a difference then. I mean, it was pretty much the same when I had my last daughter.
What does living look like? And you know, okay, so before we got on here, I said, Eisha, people got to get to know you, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I look at you, I look at a successful Afro-American, a successful Black woman, you know, that has built her name. So, and we all know that we have struggles, we have tribulations, we have things that we go through, right? And we all have to go through some things to get somewhere. I was just having a conversation with my cousin this morning. He lives in Florida. And I said, you know, if you want to get through that door, you got to have some things help you open up that door. You got to plan to open up that door, because you're not going to be able to walk up to the door and say, open sesame or open door. You have to put a plan together to get that door open. So walk me through a little bit of that plan of how you got that door open. Because remember, when you were 18, 19, you said you're in survival mode. Now you were on your 4th child 4 years ago. Now you're living up to date. How are you living? What did you go through what are a few things that you went through to get to where you are now? Because it seems like today you're so much at peace. Social media tells a lot about a person, right? You know, I could tell when, you know, I've seen you in person at some events over the years. I could tell when you were just surviving by just looking at your face. And now it's like you're in a good place. You're in living mode. You're in the community activist mode. You're in where getting into your program of what you're doing, of your kids and your parents in the community, showing your parents in the community, this is what you need to do to enrich your kids. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into your programs. Because I'm trying to put some out of you, so just go ahead and release just a little bit. I'll give
you a little bit.
A little bit. And Eisha, it's not like plugging. It's about
I know exactly what you're talking about. And and I don't mind sharing. You know, I will say this, to be where I'm at now, I had to go through a lot of pain to get to where I'm at. And a lot of people, sometimes they don't want to go through that painful experience, or they want to shy away from it, and they don't really see the big purpose of it. And so for me, that's one thing I will say. I just accepted what my life was. I accepted my faults. I looked at myself first a lot. So I would say a couple years ago, and this is 2019 is when I really was challenged. I was married. And I was going through a really tough spot in my marriage, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I was broken. I had, to be honest with you, and I can openly say this, I was already broken, right? So I dealt with a lot of stuff being a single parent, experienced things when I was a kid. So I came into a relationship broken. And so when that happened, I was just done. So a lot of people thought mentally that I was there, and I was just operating on pilot mode, like I'm doing programs, I'm faking it, really. I mean, I'm loving what I do, but I know my potential could have been a lot more if I would handle what I was experiencing. So long story short, my marriage hit rock bottom. We tried it a couple of times, but it ended up, having to end. And so I remember that time where I felt like, okay, it's over. I feel like I was about to die. Like this was, a person that I spent, I don't know, almost 16 years with, and I just felt like my life was over. And so I remember getting ready to go through something like I felt like I was about to have a breakdown. And I'm on my couch, and I kid you not, I said, I had my mom get my kids and stuff because I didn't want to be here, I'm like, if I can't hold on to a marriage, I waited for this man for 7 years in prison. So he come home and we got all this stuff going on, and just everything is just attacking our marriage, my kids, my family. It was just a lot of chaos in such a good position that we were in as community leaders. So I remember sitting down, I'm like, God, like, if you get me out of this, I promise you, I will live for you, because at this point, I don't want to be here. Like, I know this is not what you want me to go through. Like, I've been a homeowner. I didn't finish college. I mean, we are in a good place. So what are you trying to tell me? I'm listening. And so that was my breaking point, because there I found out a lot about my brokenness. I found out that there was some things that I had to absolutely change. And I had to absolutely accept. And so, of course, it was a challenge back and forth, but I just continued to trust him. I was just like, just lead me, whatever you say, I'm just going to,
Who did you trust?
Trust God. Okay. So it was like, I have really been able, like, I'm in a relationship with him all day. Like, that's who has really been directing me and what I got going on, even from the way I just handle myself. Like, I sat there, and it was almost like, no, it wasn't almost, it was God basically was like, accept it, suck it in, process it, and push on, because there's something greater. And I've seen that. So for me to experience that firsthand, and that's something I never experienced, because again, I'm just living. I mean, I'm just surviving. I'm here, I'm there. I'm just trying to keep a smile, but I'm not really happy. I don't know what happiness feels like. I'm just miserable, but I'm getting all these opportunities to really be great, but I'm just blowing them. And then this marriage happened. And so then I found myself where I felt like it was more almost like, now you're going to pay attention to what I've been telling you and trying to show you this whole time. So that was really the breaking point.
What was that one thing that God made you feel, or that one thing that said when you were laying on your couch and you were like, you know what, I'm done? What was that one thing that you really realized to say, hey, you know what, I'm done?
It was more like, you're worth it. Like, you're worth it. And you don't need to experience that pain anymore. You have to deal with yourself, and let me show you how that is. And I spent a lot of, of course, like I said, that was the beginning of my change. I spent a lot of time with myself, a lot of time. And that was a scary piece. A lot of people are very afraid to just be with self. I remember I was listening to a book, and that was another thing, just listening to like motivational speaking and just read. And he was one of these speakers that I listen to all the time. He was like, if you are in bad company if you're lonely, then you're in bad company with yourself. And that hit me, because I'm like, why do I feel so alone? Like, I got to handle self so that I can enjoy myself when I'm by myself. So it was just a lot of just, me trusting in God, and then me just feeding positivity to my life so that I can be more productive and more honest and truth about me. And so that's kind of like what kind of birth what I have going on now, because I'm happy. I'm absolutely okay with, whatever life throws at me. I handle it however I have to handle it. I do a lot of praying. I go to church. So, that was definitely it.
Where do you go to church?
180 Church, Pastor Lorenzo, right there in Pontiac, Mount Calm.
I heard a lot of great things about your pastor.
Yes, he is amazing. Yes.
Who is your favorite motivational speaker?
I would say if I had to choose, it would be Les Brown.
Why Les Brown?
So I stumbled across Les Brown right around the time I was going through my struggle. And he just pulled me out of a really dark place. He made me really believe in myself. And he just gave me a different view of a different option on how to view things that I was going through. It was almost like he was sitting on the couch talking to me. I remember when I fell down, I would have to go back and listen to him. And it was just encouraging just to know that it's life. It's not what you go through, it's how you deal with it. It's like, it's not.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time now. I need to hear it. They need to hear it too.
I said, it's life. It's not what you go through, it's how you deal with it. And so that was for me. This is what happens. A lot of people, they go through things in life. And this is another training I went through. They create this story around their life about what happened. So at about 12 years old, I was touched by a family friend. And I never said anything. My parents never knew anything. But in that story, I kind of in that situation, I created a story. And so that's where that survival mode come in at. Nobody loves me. Nobody's going to support me. Nobody this. So I got to do this kid, me and this baby on my own. I never really got out of that story. So I was pretty much living like I was a 12-year-old kid.
So when you were touched, what do you mean? They put their hands on you. What? Mm-hmm. So they sexually assaulted you at 12? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at 12. It happens a lot. And so I kind of forgot. I kid you not, I had forgot about that until the marriage came out, and I started thinking about it because, I'm like, okay, after a while, what's wrong with me? What's going on with me? And is this me? So I opened up a lot of closed doors, let's say that, and just dealt with each and every one and just moved on, from that.
So you were holding a lot inside, and you realize let me just say this. I know personally sometimes that you got to go through one thing to deal with the past, because you're not able to release some things that happened in your past because nobody made you deal with it. You figured that you didn't want to deal with it was because you didn't want to deal with it, but that didn't make no sense. But in my mind, it does. You go through some things, but you deal with your past when you get to a certain point at your life. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling, that's what happened to you, because, that someone touching you or molesting you, or, because you said the word touch. That's why I said, well, what do you mean? It's because that happens a lot in families, and people push it up under the rug and they think it's okay, or they don't want to deal with it. But for everybody that's listening and watching, it's not okay. But that's how that you need to deal with it. But your story is enough for someone to really, really look and say, wow, are you writing a book? Are you going to write a book? I'm being serious. Because your story is, you have a phenomenal story. And again, when I look at you, I know some of your struggles, right? Because, I watched you over the years, right? I've seen you high, I've seen your lows, but the main thing is I've seen your highs, and if I didn't see, or the world doesn't see your lows, then you're not human. You're a robot, and you are human. Are you in the market for a new or used car? Whether you're in the Metro Detroit area or anywhere in the U.S., call or text me at 248-3 301-0461. And I go to work on getting you the best deal possible. That's right. We're delivered anywhere in the U.S. Call or text me at 248-301-0461. Let's get into the Eisha now, into your youth enrichment programs. Let's get into your parents all these parents that you have behind them, your staff, because I watched you. I'm sorry I couldn't meet your grand opening. I had 2 customers at the dealership and I was trying to, sell cars, but Dominique, we was Dominique, the chair with the Regional Chamber of Commerce. We were supposed to meet and be there together. We talked the week before, we talked the day before, we texted that day and he said, "You coming?" And I'm like, dude, I got 2 people here and I want to tell these 2 customers, you know what? I gotta go for 45 minutes, right? And I told one of them, they were like, "Well, Regina, I've been here for an hour and a half. You gonna leave?" And I'm like, okay. I said, so I want to apologize for not being there for your special day.
No apologies needed. Like I guarantee you there's gonna be more and you'll be able to make it. I guarantee you.
All right.
It'll be on a Sunday next time.
All right. So it won't be no excuse, right? It won't be no excuse to sell no cars and slanging some cars out the door, right? So let's talk about your youth enrichment program, your kids. Mm-hmm. What are the age group for the kids for the programs that you're doing right now?
So we are servicing ages 6 because my I have little girls now. So I'm like, I got to make sure they're able to participate. 6 years old to 16.
6 to 16. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are some of the programs that you have? Because I saw United Wholesale Mortgage. Mm-hmm. She was a speaker yesterday, or was it?
Yes, Monica. She's the vice president of engagement. Amazing woman. So there's United Shores. And then there is Reimagine Recreation. So we partnered up Reimagine is a part of United Shores Sports Complex. Mm. And so we partnered up with them first, where they allow us to use their space. And so we do our girls basketball there Mondays and Wednesdays. Our parent workshops on Wednesdays for an hour.
So Monday and Wednesday is the basketball, right? So what do you do during the basketball? I mean, what's the hours? What do they? Okay. Someone comes in and teach them basketball, or how does that work? How does that look?
So it's basic fundamentals. We have a young guy named Barry. He is a director of the P League. He comes in on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Wait a minute, the
P League.
What's the P League?
He runs a league for little kids, for little boys. I think they're like 6 to 12, I think. And they're doing a basketball league right now every Saturday.
Is it absolutely amazing. Is it like the
No,
PAL?
It's not a PAL.
It's called the P.
No, it's not. It's not associated with PAL at all.
Okay.
So he named it the P League because so what he did was bring in I think it's like 4 teams, and they're kind of like the middle school middle school, how we used to have like Washington, Jefferson. So he kind of brought that back into it. But he comes every Monday and Wednesday, and he does this basic fundamentals with the girls. And then after that, like they'll go into his league. So it's kind of like he prepares them, like he introducing them, basketball. And of course, these little girls, sometimes they just want to come and just play with each other. They little kids. So you might get them, running in the conference room, and I just might let them if I'm just that tired. But they just come and have fun. And then there's an enrichment piece to that. And so with basketball, they'll do the basketball, and then they'll come in, and then we'll do some type of either tutoring, reading. Sometimes we just meditating and just, let them put their head on the table, relaxing, kind of learning how to like mellow down. And then that's it for the most part. Like I wasn't looking to do no lead or anything. I just wanted to introduce that, considering that I played basketball as a kid. I had places to go and learn. And like nowadays, it's just not, especially girls, there's no place for them to really go to. And if there is, you got to pay for them. So I always said, whatever I do, I want to be able to offer offer programs and services that are qualified to my families for free.
So was back in the day, it was the Highland Center. Was it Highland Center when you were growing?
Hayes Jones, Highland Center, Howardale.
We could go.
We used to walk
and play with the boys. Right. We could go play with the boys. Remember that?
Yep. And that's what we did. Me and my friends used to walk from town to town and just play ball. You know, we played in the leagues that the PAL had back in the day. I mean, that's when it was really fun here. You know, we always had something to do. And so I'm like, why not? You know, why not, introduce that to our young girls? And they love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, I love that you're doing that, because you said the ages are 6 to what ages they're working with right now? Is it ages 6, you said?
6 to 16. So normally we got more smaller girls that's from 6 to, I would say 10, 11. That's like that's the most, that's like our biggest group. And then our older girls, depending on how many it is with them, we split them up, but there may be days we have the older girls help with the younger girls. So it's kind of giving them like that mentoring opportunity as well.
I like that, because at that age 6, you get the girls started thinking about it in that environment, and then they make a decision: do they want to play basketball?
Yeah.
At that stage, you need to start early, but it's getting them around other ladies or other girls that may want to play basketball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not where you are also opening the door, where you are not pushing them. You're saying some days you may let them run out into the conference room or let them do that, but you're still letting them be girls.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if they're going to develop into that girls basketball player and then maybe that woman basketball player, right? They got to be able to start at that age, because they got to be nurtured. They got to be nurtured, right?
Yeah.
It's all about being nurtured. Where do you see yourself with the programs that you have with the kids? Where do you see yourself in 1 year?
I see myself having a couple more locations and just servicing my community.
Where's your location? Where's your location currently?
So we have a location in Waterford, which is the Parent Empowerment Center is just a hub for resources. It's not necessarily like they don't come in and do programs or anything like that. I just have a team of people who does intake from me. So when it comes to anybody that need resources, they get put in our system. I have somebody that looks for resources. I have somebody that looks for resources and programs. And then there's me who process those resources, meaning the people that I have partnered up with, I have access to a person at their organization. And so we kind of send information, making sure the client that needs that service is being handled. So that's pretty much all that this place is for. But we have partner locations as well.
And who are some? Now I was looking at social media again. I was just strolling, and I said I need to go back and make a comment, but then I got off focus. But anyway, looks like you had an article in the paper, in the Waterford Schools paper.
Mm-hmm. Waterford Chamber.
Waterford Chamber. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they did a highlight of you. Let's talk about that. What was that? What was that highlight about, and how did that make you feel? Because it looks like, I don't know, I thought I saw Queen Eisha come out.
Honestly, it made me feel real good, because what I did tell myself on this journey, I'm not going to ever limit myself.
Say it again.
So I'm not going to ever limit myself. And I'm not going to ever be afraid to reach out and let people know what we're doing, because it's needed everywhere. So that was like the start of it. And so when I first got this place, I just started reaching out and letting people know this is what's going on. And that came from that, So yeah, I felt good, because it was delivered to my office. And I was like, so I was just looking through it, and then I seen a nice little side for us. And I'm like, okay. And so I was all fuzzy and then sad.
And you know what? And you should be. Let's talk about the kids in the program. If someone wanted to get involved with your program, what's the process? Is it open to anyone?
So if they can, we are offering transportation now. So right now our registration is closed because we are already in programs. Our end date for this session is the 14th of March. And then it reopens April the 4th, I think, that Monday. And so they can go to our website and look, that we'll have a registration link on there, or they can call our office and get put in the system.
How many kids are in your program?
Right now is 57.
So is that a number that you're going to have, is that a reoccurring number that's the goal, to have that many each program?
So they're all scattered through. So we have girls basketball, we have girls volleyball, with which we partnered up with Boys and Girls Club. So we do that on Saturdays. And then we have boys mentoring, and we do that on Zoom every other Saturday. And then, so that's the amount, kind of going through all programs. But no, like, it just depends, one thing about me is, like, I want to get all the kids, of course, but it's going to depend on the staff. I want to make sure that our programs are working, we're effective, we can manage it. I'm not just saying, hey, everybody, because if that was the case, I would do that, but it just wouldn't be right to put that on me or my team to try to manage when we still trying to build our systems.
What about do you have a girls mentor? You got the boys, you got the girls mentors yet?
So we do have girls mentoring, but it's incorporated in our volleyball. And so that's a piece of our enrichment with the girls for volleyball. So we meet with them for 2 hours, and then we do mentoring and kind of like talk about health. So it's like an actual program. So our next sessions, April the 4th, we're merging the girls and the girl volleyball and basketball together as a program. So I'm hoping that it, works out, that we'll kind of be together at a location where we can kind of like break off, where we have 2 people going in and doing the enrichment piece and then the volleyball. And like I said, all these programs are fundamental volleyball. We're not looking for the best of the best. We're looking at people who wants to learn about it, who want to have fun, who want to just get out the house. No skills are required, just the ages.
No competition.
Yeah. No, it's just coming out, having fun, meeting friends. So
I would like to get involved in your mentorship program. When you get that, let me you got my cell.
Okay.
I would like to get involved. I'm all about giving back, and I love what you're doing, and I see the great things you're doing in the community. I was looking forward to our interview, because I know that in order for a door to open, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, in order for a door to open, you can't say open sesame. You got to put the plan together to get through the door. And then if one plan fails, you go to your next, you got to have a plan B, a plan C. And you never know who your supporters are. You never know who's rooting for you. And I know that being on someone else's platform, you never know what a door may open. I know that we was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago? You messaged me and you said, hey, post this flyer for me, right? Mm-hmm. Posted the flyer, and then a young lady, Crystal Poole, which I call her my little sister from another mother. It's funny how we call everybody our sisters, right? But but I don't know whether that's a Black thing or what. Hey sis, hey this. Anyway, I did the post, and then she said, Regina, what is this? And then I went into the inbox on Messenger and said, hey, you know what? Somebody asked about the program, y'all connect. And then you screenshot it. You sent me a screenshot that you actually reached out to Forgotten Harvest. Mm-hmm. And, it's about putting those relationships together, and you don't know how you're putting them together. You don't know who knows who. So I want to thank you for being on the No Limiter podcast, but is there any last words that you want to leave us or leave the community?
Of course. I would definitely say never limit yourself. Just, keep going, keep having faith, never give up, and stay on course. Even if you're going through something in life, adjust, deal with it, but continue staying on course. It gets easier. And you have to go through pain to get to your purpose. So whatever you're going through, handle it,
process it,
and keep it moving.
And keep it moving, keep it going. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking out time, your busy schedule. And I will see you soon. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. Have a good one. Thank you, Regina.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the No Limiter Podcast with Regina Eileen Woodard. Remember to subscribe and review the No Limiter Podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts and the No Limiter Podcast YouTube channel. Every listen and review helps to get this podcast out to as many no limiters like you as possible.